Things are looking dire for companies that decided to get away from what made them really, well, special. Whether it's Star Wars or Marvel, or even in restaurants like, well, Cracker Barrel. Well, it turns out, if you're doing the opposite, if you go back to that which works, if you give people what they remember and love, you're rewarded handsomely. Look no other place than Pizza Hut. No, seriously. We'll explain on the other side. Do you remember a time when you could go and play a game of Ninja Turtles while your pizza was baking, the smell of fresh mozzarella, and a jukebox playing the latest hits? Well, Pizza Hut owners are daring you to come on back and travel back in time. But I'm here to tell you it's not just nostalgia that's winning the day. Today we'll talk about how this is a broader callback all across the spectrum of entertainment and leisure and travel, where people are saying, I want to go back to when things were unique and special and iconic. Give me more of that, please. The whole world has a craving, and it may be for pizza, but even more so, it may be for going back to the good old days. And that's what's happening with Pizza Hut. Folks, did you see what happened to Cracker Barrel? Have you seen how they destroyed their stock, destroyed their company by trying to make it modern and sterile and, well, nowhere that anybody wants to go? A blasé, Cracker Barrel blasé. Have you seen how that's going with the other companies out there that do the same thing? Or maybe even go woke like Jaguar did or Bud Light? Well, it turns out Pizza Hut is taking the opposite approach, and suddenly folks just want to have pizza again. I think there's a broader topic to be talked about here, even in entertainment. Let's go there. This is out of cbc.ca, and it says the Pizza Huts from your childhood are making a comeback. Here's why nostalgia sells. And I'm going to tell you, folks, I don't think this is actually nostalgia. 155 locations in the U.S. are retro now, with more joining them rapidly. Natalie Stechison is writing this one. It says, it was once a sacred place, ushering you inside with its signature red roof and comforting smell of bubbling cheese. In a special era now lovingly known as the 90s, and I would add 80s too. In its prime, Pizza Hut wasn't just a restaurant chain. It was an experience. The stained glass lamps, red booths and red cups, the fully loaded salad bar, the Pac-Man machines to keep you entertained while you waited for your personal pan pizza. For me, it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And yes, Rocksteady eats lots of quarters. It was perfect, says one of many TikTok videos of the experience. Felt like home, says another nostalgic video. Now, one of the largest franchisees in the U.S. is bringing Pizza Hut back to its retro glory days by revamping dozens of its locations, part of a larger overall push towards classic Pizza Huts. It says the sales have been falling in the crowded pizza market, but the change evidently is popular. The classic locations are some of the chain's top performers. Customers reportedly driving hours just to sit down and eat. They've been positively received in the communities where we've converted them, said Tim Sparks, president of the Kansas-based franchisee, which oversees 94 Pizza Hut locations across the U.S., though none in Canada. You can see right there the way that they go back and they look at the Pizza Huts. And folks, this is now making the news everywhere. CBS covering this, and we'll play this. CBS, please don't get us for this. We're trying to help you, help us, help you, okay? CBS 19.
Still, your red roof catches the eye. Inside, the vinyl booths, Tiffany-style lamps, and yes, the salad bar you may remember from decades ago.
I mean, it's amazing the comments we have about, they have the red cups. Yeah, yes, we do.
Tim Sparks got his start working at a Pizza Hut that looked like this. He's now president of Dayland Corporation, which owns this franchise and more than 80 others around the country.
All right, I think we've got the idea. In an age where many of the companies are trying to race to destroy their past, kill it if you have to, you get the idea. Pizza Hut is doing the opposite. And panel, I don't think it's nostalgia. Gary, I actually think that things were better in some ways in the past. Now, technology is not the same, but I'm saying like Pizza Hut, I think was a better delivery. I think there's something to the iconography. And I think there's something to an arcade machine sitting there for kids to go play while they wait for their pizza to be made. Like, I think this stuff actually has an appeal that's not just member berries. And I think that if companies want to succeed, they've got to stop the brutalist, modern, sterile kind of creations that they've made out of these things and go back to being special. And I think it's true, Gary, of not just restaurants, but entertainment. I think it's true of comics, of superheroes, of sci-fi, like everything. Gary, are you hopeful as we watch this happen? You know, it's a tale of two restaurants, Cracker Barrel destroyed, Pizza Hut being revivified. What say you, Gary?
Yeah, I'm really hopeful because this is like you're saying, this is a universal model that can be applied to not only a restaurant, but to movies, television, theme parks. And this is a prime example of a company listening to people speaking on social media, which if you look anywhere, really, they're always posting pictures of, remember when Pizza Hut was great? Remember the red cups? Remember this and that? Well, they're responding to that. And that's how you do it right there.
Well,
and I'll always remember my birthday, at Pizza Hut. I would be waiting for my pizza and I'd go, put a bunch of quarters in Operation Wolf. That was like one of the greatest times of my young life. I think it's fantastic.
Of course, we saw in that picture, they still have flat screen TVs on the walls, which they didn't have back in the day.
Right. I don't think a jukebox is going to return.
No, but it's a question of this. The more people have big screen TVs at home and are watching all these movies we talk about on streaming, the more they're ordering pizza delivered. This whole idea is to get people actually physically into the restaurant to dine. And that's what's, in theory, making a comeback if it's doing it at all, if it's working.
I think for me, a problem, right, is like I think that this idea is so great, but if the recipes aren't the same and they're not like going back to the food that people remember, then I don't really know if this is going to be able to, stay relevant for very long. Like I think that it's just going to be a phase and that, oh my gosh, I'm going because it opened up near me, and then you go once and then after that it's like, well, I could just not go again because it's still not exactly the same.
Right. Well, plus with Cracker Barrel, the food degenerated long before the whole rebranding look thing happened. And I don't know that they fixed that part yet. So we'll see.
Part of the problem with the food thing is it's very difficult to unwind this, because if we go back to the 80s and the 90s, there were a great number of companies that produced the food that these large then restaurants would purchase from. And today, my understanding, if Culture were here, he'd go on like a 20-minute explanation of this. But my understanding is there's 4 or 5 companies that basically produce almost all of the food that we consume when we go out to eat.
Certainly, Pizza Cheese is a monopoly of about 2 or 3 companies in the whole country.
Right.
No matter what brand, whether it's take home frozen or eat out at a restaurant, it's all coming from the same place. So,
which is why if you go places and say, why does the food all taste the same? Like why does this pizza place taste just like this pizza place now? It's because all the ingredients are coming from the same places. So you're exactly right, Vera. And how they fix that, I'm not completely sure. Your higher end restaurants, of course, they work around that because they deal with local growers and producers. But Pizza Hut, I think, at least in the iconography part of this, I think this is great. I think that we need to differentiate. And I think that we need to get away from ugly and bland. And it's okay. It may be even a little tacky, right? Pizza Hut might be just a little bit, it's not the place for luxury. It's just not. And perhaps that's what people want. Perhaps people want different.
One of these red roofed Pizza Hut buildings became, I think it was the city hall for the city of Palm Desert out near Palm Springs. And you drive by and see, wait a minute, that's not a Pizza Hut. And they had the sign out. And now I guess it's something else. But so they've been repurposed in a few places. And again, this guy is an existing franchisee redoing them rather than opening new locations. So see, that almost looks like it could have been like a Shakey's or a Denny's or an anything, but they just put the red roof on top.
Well, this one has the modern logo and, who cares? But the thing is, I wonder now, are the other fast food restaurants going to consider this? And I think, like Taco Bell definitely looked differently in the 80s, right? I don't know if they're going to go back to that kind of stuff. Will they be inspired by Pizza Hut? I don't know.
I think so. I think because a Taco Bell is still doing so well today, they wouldn't, whereas Pizza Hut has definitely waned in popularity, and I think that they were looking for some sort of way to just boost sales.
Well, interesting you should mention Taco Bell because, of course, KFC, Pizza Hut, and Taco Bell are all under the rubric of Yum Brands, which was the spinoff from Pepsi that used to own it. So there you go. And in fact, I remember when I was covering restaurants a million years ago, Coke and Pepsi were fighting for independent restaurants business. And Coke would say, well, we're the ones with the real thing. and Pepsi is in competition with you because they own KFC and Pizza Hut, and they're getting your customers to go there. It was a big war. But this guy, again, is a franchisee, but the overall company is owned by Yum Brands, which is Taco Bell and KFC.
Well, as I think about the things that I'd like to see make a return, I don't know that I would, and this is the problem with it, right? This is what Vera is saying. Maybe I would only drink this beverage once and then say, well, that's enough of that. But I think back in the past of all the drinks that are gone now, or all the places that are gone now that you used to go to, and give me a Surge soda, for example. I'll drink one of those. It's basically diabetes in a can, but I'd go for a Surge one more time. I'd do it one more time. Panel, what are some things you'd like to see make a return? If we're going to bring stuff back, what should come back?
I'd like the food to taste like actual food and not like all this artificialness. Because, like Vera was saying earlier, unless they fix the recipes, I can't justify leaving my comfortable house to come and sit here and just eat the same like trash that they've been making the last few years. Because there's a Pizza Hut that's right down the road, and my husband and I gave it a shot, and it was bad. It was like really bad, and I don't get heartburn, and it immediately gave me heartburn. So whatever they're putting in their stuff, it's not good.
So what you're saying is you want Coca-Cola to bring back Fruitopia drinks as fast as possible.
Yes. I want it to bring back, good taste and a
that's
great
the opposite.
experience. I want a good experience. That's what I want, because this is Member Berries is nice. Better food is good. Like they're fighting us wanting to leave our homes when it's very convenient for food to come to us right now. Like that's
okay. Well, that's a great
battle.
Let me follow that up with you then, Caro. DoorDash is something that really didn't exist back then. It's prevalent now, and there are more ways to just stay at home than ever before. But that might actually not be good for us as a society. In fact, I would suspect it's really not. I think we actually need to be around strangers.
And the weirdest stuff is on DoorDash. The snack stands at the AMC movie theaters in this town will deliver through DoorDash. Like what I really want is a hot dog that's been spinning on that thing for the last 3 years, And
charged at quadruple the appropriate price.
The weirdest one, a bridal shop chain is delivering through DoorDash. It's like you could do on DoorDash, they have this thing that they call Double Dash, where they don't charge you the service fee if you have 2 orders on one thing. So it's like, order me a pizza, and while you're at it, get me a corsage. Right. I don't get that at all, but I guess if you're urgently in need of something from the bridal store.
Carol, what do you think about the idea that the Pizza Hut redo might have more to do with, everybody's at home? They're door dashing, they're using Amazon, they're not going to stores, they're not going to restaurants. And maybe this calls back to a time when we actually drove somewhere and went somewhere and saw other people we didn't know before. And maybe people miss that.
Yeah, you can find people that will want to go and sit in places. Like there's a coffee place down the road from me, and people go and sit and talk in there all the time. And
no way.
Yeah, they do. It's actually like I have to stand in line to get my coffee. It's quite impressive. But I don't really see that with restaurants like Pizza Hut. Most of it has to do with the interior decoration, because one of the things that they taught me when I was going through hospitality is that the way that they design the interior is either to have you stay and linger or to eat and get out. And so anytime you see a place that has reds, yellows, pretty much McDonald's colors, they want you to eat and they want you to get out.
Yeah. And Chock full of Nuts in New York City was famous for having intentionally uncomfortable chairs because they didn't want people lingering. They wanted the turnover.
Mm-hmm.
So what colors should I go with if I want people to linger and stay?
Earth colors.
The stuff
that they do with Starbucks. Yeah.
Okay. See, I always thought red and yellow were used at some restaurants because they are the colors of so much, the things that we eat. And that's why so few restaurants are colored blue or purple, is because there aren't that many, edible
Except
items that are that color.
Yeah. Let's not forget the blue shrimp.
Yeah. But, they do so they did like this study about colors and how people respond to them if they're in a room with them. And they found that the people who sit in rooms with bright colors, so the reds, the yellows, the whites, and all that, were more likely to leave or find a reason to leave than the people who were in rooms with cool colors or earth colors.
And a lot of those studies, by the way, were done by the government as to, for example, what color should they make the interior of submarines where people are going to be confined for a long period of time so they don't get anxiety. I remember one of those studies showed up. It was a part of his research in the Andromeda strain for the various levels, as they descend in the Andromeda strain through more and more sterility. So color matters. There was a very famous book about marketing, one of the very first that was for consumers, called The Hidden Persuaders by Vance Packard. And he talked about a certain dress that they showed a bunch of women, and they all thought the color was hideous. But when they told them it was this year's fashion, they bought it. So there are extenuating factors.
Yeah, I do know that some restaurants that do have red, so I'm not saying all restaurants with red are bad. I've seen some of you making comments in the chat. There are some Italian restaurants that will obviously have red, but then they try and mellow it out with like the brown coloring that they have with like the decor and the paintings and whatnot.
Or the baskets around the empty bottles of Chianti hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah,
I always thought the greatest thing in the world would be to open an Italian restaurant because you got to drink all that wine in order to decorate it. So
yeah.
Andy, what arcade should we put in all the retro Pizza Huts, Andy?
Ooh, wow. Pac-Man and Space Invaders.
Space Invaders is not bad.
Galaxian.
Jukeboxes, even if they're just for decor?
I would
Why
love
not?
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I miss a good jukebox. Andy, final thoughts on it?
I'd like to see more people get back into cooking again. Then they'd understand what real food was. You can make your own things for a lot cheaper and a lot better tasting. A lot of the places we go to now, it tastes so fake but so many people, especially young people over the last 20 years or so, have never had real food, so they don't know the difference. I get a lot of people that come to me about like diet advice, exercise and things. And once you get them changing a few things and cutting out all the sugars and stuff, then they go back to it and they're like, I can't stand the taste of it. They don't like it anymore because they've had the real thing. And I would love to see a healthier society for us to live in. I'd love to see people going out and exercising more and doing things like getting out and part of it is like where you live. You go down south and people wave to you as you drive by. They do it up here in the Northeast, but it's usually just waving with one finger. But
It's lighter that way.
But I'd like
but you're right about when people get used to things. I remember I went to a health retreat once for a month, and part of it was they didn't put salt on anything. And they had celery sticks on the table, like a lot of places do. And I was in the routine, as most people were, of just sprinkling salt on celery. After the third day, that saltless celery tasted so salty because I was not overcompensating with the fake or the additional salt, So it's all about contrast.
And remember, folks, you can get healthy too at a Retro Pizza Hut, which definitely is not sponsoring this video. How so? Stop on by the salad bar, where you can find black olives, lettuce, and maybe a few other things, and plenty of ranch dressing, which I'm sure will help you with your figure once more. And put another one in the can, folks. A video of excellence has been birthed into existence, and you were there to witness it. Thank you for participating. We hope you had a good time. Folks, it's a great time anytime we get to share time with you, and we mean it. The only thing additional we ask, on the way out the door, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, click it and stick it to those pesky algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. And oh, by the way, if you would be so kind, perhaps share this out on your favorite social media platforms. Folks, we've got all kinds of content coming your way. If you are interested in going even beyond all of that, well, there's a pro store, and you can always find those items directly below the video you're watching. The pro store, it's a cool place to check out for items that, well, definitely Disney and the rest are not going to sell you, but we're happy to do so. Until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.